A couple of years ago, the idea of Spider-Man being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was simply a dream, nothing more. Not because Disney didn't want it, but because of Sony's tight, evil grip on the character. For years, Spider-Man fans were begging Sony, please give us a good Spider-Man movie. What else could we do? It was like an abusive relationship where Sony is the abuser, and we just love Spider-Man so much that we have no other choice. But now, oh my god, is that Spider-Man in Civil War? Oh my god, Spider-Man in the MCU? And Spider-Man this time it was right. Honestly, this whole movie felt like a big warm hug from Disney. They just came in and said, hey Spider-Man fans, we do care about you. We do care about this character. And we do care about the source material. And we do understand the complexity that is Spider-Man. Finally, this whole movie was the first date with someone new, someone that cares. It is the best Spider-Man movie in a long time. But that's not really saying much. Just within the first 15-20 minutes, I can't think of a sane person that would not smile in the first 15 to 20 minutes. If you didn't smile in the first 20 minutes, then go to the doctors. You might be a psychopath. Because the movie is just so endearing, and that's what they captured right about the character of Spider-Man. And this is why the movie is so good, because they took the time to understand what Spider-Man is, what he meant, and why he's one of the best heroes of all time. And they really explore what that means for Spider-Man in the 10th grade. His eagerness, his curiosity, his humbleness, his selflessness, that's endearing. And this movie captured that perfectly. Even though Tom Holland absolutely killed it as Spider-Man, Michael Keaton was so awesome as the Vulture. Michael Keaton is the best Marvel villain in a very long time. We see the layers of him. Instead of him just being introduced as a bad guy, we see him grow as a person, and we understand where he's coming from. You feel bad for him, and you understand. You almost want to justify his actions because he's been through the worst. Every time he speaks, you can't help but to agree with him. He's right about so many things. That's what makes a great villain. I love that the high school aspect of this movie feels so real. It actually feels like a real high school. It's not a cliche high school. It's not like a movie high school where there's certain stereotypes. There's all kinds of people in this high school. It looks like a high school in New York. I honestly think every single supporting character in this movie was amazing except for one. And it's not because of his acting or his portrayal of the character, but it's just the way the character is written in the first place. I didn't like Flash Thompson. I didn't think he added anything to the whole thing. Like, I don't think Flash Thompson really leaves an impact on Peter's life the way maybe he was supposed to. But honestly, just take a look at them. Now, if you saw these people in a high school, if you're in high school and saw these guys, who would you think is the cool one? The stupid collar or the handsome guy with the amazing jawline? But I get it. It's the new idea of a bully. It's more than just physical bully. It's psychological, whatever. But really, Spider-Man's best friend, I thought he was hilarious. What was his name? Ned? I thought he was hilarious. And I thought him and Peter, when they talked to each other, it was really nice. It was really fun to see. I love Zendaya's character too. I thought she was hilarious and totally real. The way she looked and the way she acted really looked like a high schooler. It looked like I could go into a high school and find someone that acts and looks just like her. Everyone else is amazing. I don't want to go through all of them. There's a lot, but everyone else was amazing. Oh, but Robert Downey Jr. Oh, you gotta love him. You can't not love Robert Downey Jr. There's a reason why this man is overpaid every time, because he just nails it every time. And he just reminds you every time why you fell in love with him in the first place. Every single line he gives is perfect because he's not in there much. That's what I was worried about. I thought he was going to be in there a lot, a little too much where he takes the spotlight, but he's hardly in there at all. So the few times that he is in there, I thought his scenes were awesome. And the scenes between them have so much heart. When them two talked, I felt real emotions. This is one of the funniest Marvel movies because almost all the jokes land. The jokes fit Spider-Man. All the jokes feel natural. But at the same time, that can also be viewed as a bad thing. I love Spider-Man, but I have to be honest. My biggest problem with the film is that it is just so lighthearted to the point where it feels like there's no stakes at all. A few times it does get intense and it does feel like the stakes are rising, especially with one twist that I did not expect at all. That did raise the stakes a little more, and it did make it more tense. But it didn't last very long, because the movie's just so focused on being this light-hearted film that most of the time you're not really feeling anything else but just happy to be there. For example, the scenes where Spider-Man is actually in the action, actually fighting. I love the way Spider-Man moves, and I love his witty banter. It's beautiful, but it just doesn't seem impactful. It doesn't seem like Spider-Man really is gonna lose it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like to compare movies, but I'm only comparing to get my point across. In the Sam Raimi films, the stakes are high and the scenes are impactful. We see Spider-Man get beat the hell out of, to the point where we start to worry about Spider-Man. We don't get to see that in Spider-Man Homecoming. We don't really get to see that intensity. It doesn't really feel like Spider-Man is in real danger. It's something I noticed and have to say, but it didn't distract from the entertainment value of this movie. But there's just not those scenes where you feel like the hero is gonna lose. I don't think that's a huge criticism because they got everything else so perfect and spot on. And also, I get that Spider-Man is only in 10th grade right now, so they're not gonna do like really hardcore, dark. They're not gonna beat the hell out of Spider-Man yet because he's only about 15 years old, and you know, what kind of message would that be sending? So I get this is like the startup, you know? I know they're planning a huge career with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, so I am certain that later down the line, when Spider-Man is older and more mature and can handle more dark stories, they are gonna get into the more gritty stuff and they are gonna beat the crap out of Spider-Man, and I can't wait to see that. Also, the final fight, I felt like it was not as satisfying as it could have been because it just didn't last that long. And I don't know, because the intentions of one of the characters, earlier he says something and then later he doesn't follow through with it, and I'm wondering what happened to what he said. Didn't he say something? I thought he was ready to go the distance and all of a sudden he's not. But like I said, these are small critiques to an amazing movie. I just have to be honest, as a Spider-Man fan and as a movie fan. Yeah, I love this movie and everyone needs to go see it. You probably already saw it. Go again and take your fam. I'm gonna take my mom's tomorrow. She's gotta see it. She loves Iron Man, so she's gonna love it. A great introduction to Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I cannot wait to see what extent Spider-Man goes to in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a dream come true, and I can't wait to see where he goes. I'm gonna give this 8.5 out of 10. I cried like a baby. Alright guys. Later.